Mohamed Bamba is a thoughtful, shockingly lanky, and surprisingly skilled 7-foot center from Harlem, New York. He spent his lone year of college at Texas under Shaka Smart. Honestly, when it comes to Mo Bamba, lanky doesn't really even cover it. You'd have to reach into the world of fiction to find length that's comparable to the wingspan and the reach that Bamba enjoys. He's an anomaly. He's filled with overwhelming potential, but he's also one of the more volatile floor-to-ceiling propositions in the 2018 NBA draft. I talk a lot about the genetic lottery and how there are bigger winners than others, and Mo Bamba is a genetic lottery Powerball winner. It was previously thought that Bamba's wingspan was 7'9.5". Recently, we found out that this is incorrect.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's 7'10", which would be the longest wingspan in the history of the NBA Draft Combine, and in the company of some of the longest in the history of the league. He's also got a standing reach of 9'7¾", which is astonishing. There seems to be a definite threshold where, past a certain point, the longer the wingspan, the less likely it is for a player to be skilled. These rare guys are like salmon swimming upstream when it comes to trying to get to the NBA and stay there. Some of this is the fact that a lot of these guys were likely goaded into playing basketball when they weren't in love with the game when they were younger. Hasheem Thabit comes to mind. But in the last 10 years, only Andre Drummond, Hassan Whiteside, and Rudy Gobert have been able to function in regular rotation on their respective teams with these types of measurements. So what does this tell us? And what do these guys have in common? Well, mobility is the first thing to come to mind other than skill. Pace of play makes mobility a must-have quality, and the NBA is a higher concentration of skilled players, so that makes sense. So in any given situation, the offensive variables are greater, and defenders have to be equipped to respond. There's almost nowhere to hide if you're slow. This is all to demonstrate how rare it is to come across a prospect quite like Mo Bamba. Not only is he in the rarest of rarefied air in terms of physical gifts, and by that I mean coordination, skill, size, and length, but he's also extremely bright. Listening to Mo talk, he's got the polish of a seasoned broadcaster. He's eloquent. He makes astute, constructive observations about his own game. He was even courted by Ivy League schools when he was headed to college and actually had Harvard on his final list. His coordination and timing are very advanced and polished for a kid of his build and age. He moves pretty fluidly and he gets to shots extremely quickly because of his footwork, and his challenges in the lane are almost breathtaking. He averaged 3.8 blocks per game this past season, and only Jaren Jackson Jr. and Sagaba Konate had higher block percentages than Bamba. Flat-footed, Bamba is damn near impossible to shoot over because if you don't get him moving in space, you're being asked to release the ball over a 9'7.5" reach or higher than that. If you're trying to come at him in a switch pick and roll, or you see him coming as a weak side defender, you'd better be ready to go into his chest like a battering ram or put the ball at an absurd angle, and this is really difficult to do and make a shot. All that said, you're probably still going to get your shot blocked. Mo's feet laterally are surprisingly agile in the half court, even with his ultra-thin lower body. He reads situations well, and his length acts as a mind-boggling corrective tool if he gets out of position. He can hang back and discourage a ball handler from attacking the rim just by giving them a taste of that wingspan. It's pretty remarkable.
Come get a taste.
He also avoids fouls well. His on-court intelligence and demeanor are very cool and collected, and his ability to stay on his feet until you've released the ball is exceptional. But it's not just the shots that Bamba blocks, and this is typical with a lot of elite shot blockers. It's the ones that he could block, and those really add up. Bamba just being in the lane is enough to make even the best finishers hesitate. Knowing that he's there is like trying to swim in deep ocean water and not think about what's under you. It's gonna get in your head. He doesn't just block shots or grab rebounds, his length inhales them. Mo's ability and or willingness to really enhance his frame and fill out his lower body will be massively important going forward. His opportunity to expand his offensive game both on the low block and facing up will largely be dictated by his ability to get stronger and more agile in his lower body. Bamba really struggles to score in traffic right now and hold on to the ball when things get dicey around the rim. He gets pushed out of position often, and there are times where he seems to fold up like origami when he's trying to attempt to make a post move one-on-one. I could see Mo finding it extremely difficult to score during his early NBA seasons if this doesn't improve. Watching him try to score one-on-one against DeAndre Ayton in drills at the Jordan Brand Classic a year ago was eye-opening for me, and I remembered that. And a lot of that continued at Texas, unfortunately. When he's maneuvering around guys, he's impressive, but his ability to man up and make a simple baby hook with either hand will do wonders for his ability to stay on the floor in the NBA. His lower body strength is also keeping him from exploding towards the rim in traffic and dunking on people. With that wingspan, you want to see more of that. Mo also at times struggled to grapple with the level of effort required of him play to play. You can see in my Colin Sexton and Trae Young videos that a lot of transition offense happened for them merely because Mo took his sweet ass time getting back. That incredible length is negated if it's constantly in between the foul lines in transition. You could argue that this is correctable, but there are quality point guards on the majority of NBA teams, and he is going to get picked on if he doesn't improve in this area. Hate to keep beating a dead horse, but he also struggles to catch lobs in fluid situations or in transition. Now, some of this, again, is his agility and lower body strength. He gets pushed off of his spots too easily, and that's when he's in the air, too. Most of his lobs come from flat-footed situations where the penetrator's beating their man, and he just uses that insane length to reach over the defense. That'll still be a thing for him in the NBA, but it's certainly going to get more difficult. Perspective and expectations going forward are the most important things for teams with the opportunity to draft Mo Bamba. Looking at what Bamba is right now and making a snap judgment would likely be a mistake because of his tremendous upside. It's arguable that he has the most upside of any guy in the draft. Spare maybe DeAndre Ayton at max potential. Guys with Bamba's physical traits just do not come along, especially when you consider the baseline of his skill level. A shooting repertoire that's limited but certainly could develop because his mechanics are not in dire straits. He can hit threes when he's wide open. No real aversion to mixing it up on the glass, and wide, broad shoulders that could add weight. This is scary level Giannis type stuff. That said, this is like betting on a volatile stock. Know that you're not getting a bucket getter. Know that you're not getting a rim-running, high-flying energy guy. Know that you're not getting a guy that can stretch the defense. Yet. Know that you're getting a guy that currently does not pass well out of the post. So that makes you wonder, do guys ever learn motor? Can you become a high activity player? You guys can hit me with examples of this happening, but these are things to consider when you want to bet on a stock like Bamba. If you look at the numbers and take the horrendous Texas basketball season into account, he was on a poorly constructed roster and surrounded by guards that couldn't stretch or create offense. You might talk yourself out of Mo Bamba. I certainly did for a time. But the more I read between the lines and the more I watch him play, I've started to suspect that we might see Bamba go in the top 3. Bamba could be a defensive superstar in the NBA, and he could also struggle so much with the pace of play and his strength that we never really see him take off. My gut is starting to think that the former is more likely. He's just got the ability to impact a basketball game in a way that just doesn't come along very often. And for teams in the high lottery, that might be a very difficult thing to pass up. Let me know if you agree. Thanks. Hey folks, I appreciate you watching, and if you like this video, click the like button and be sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at @JKyleMann. Say hey.